A Filipina housekeeper was always ignored until she found a shocking secret hidden in the hotel. The manager laughed at her, thinking she was powerless. But when the real owner stepped in, everything changed. What happened next will surprise you. Stay until the end to see how she turned the tables. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful Filipina stories. This story will leave you shocked, so stay until the end. Maria wiped her forehead with the back of her hand, the scent of cleaning chemicals mixing with the smell of expensive leather furniture. She had been working at Le Grand Royal Hotel for 3 years. 3 years of scrubbing floors, fluffing pillows, and keeping the hotel pristine. Yet, no one noticed her. To the guests, she was just the housekeeper. To the staff, she was one of them. And to Manager Richard, she was nothing. "Faster, Maria. You move too slow," Richard scoffed, watching her struggle with a heavy vacuum. The other workers giggled, trying to avoid his wrath. Maria bit her lip, holding back tears. She needed this job, not just for herself, but for her daughter back home in the Philippines. Every peso she sent back paid for her child's schooling, her mother's medicine, and a better future. One evening, as she was cleaning the penthouse suite, she stumbled upon something strange, something that would change everything. There, hidden under the luxury bed, was a torn letter with the hotel owner's name on it. What was it doing there? And why did it look like someone had tried to hide it? Maria's hands trembled as she picked up the letter. The thick, cream-colored paper had the hotel's golden seal embossed on the top, but it was crumpled and torn at the edges, as if someone had tried to destroy it. Her eyes darted to the bold black letters at the top. To Mr. William Harrington, owner of Le Grand Royal Hotel. Maria's heart pounded. William Harrington, the hotel owner. She had never seen him before, only heard rumors about how he was a mysterious businessman who rarely visited his own property. Her gaze dropped to the first few lines. "Sir, we regret to inform you that there have been serious issues with the hotel's financial records. There are discrepancies amounting to millions of dollars. Someone is..." The next part was torn off. Maria's breath hitched. Someone in the hotel was stealing from the owner. And this letter, this crucial piece of evidence, had been hidden right here in the penthouse suite. Her head snapped up as footsteps echoed in the hallway. Manager Richard. Maria shoved the letter into her cleaning apron just as Richard stepped inside. His eyes narrowed. "What are you doing?" he barked. Maria swallowed hard. "I was just finishing up, sir." Richard's lips curled into a smirk. "Then hurry up. You're not being paid to stand around like a fool." He turned on his heel and left, but Maria noticed something odd. He glanced around the room before exiting, as if checking if anything was missing. Her heart pounded. Did he know about the letter? Was he the one stealing from the owner? Maria knew one thing. She had to find out the truth. But if she wasn't careful, she could lose her job. Or worse. Maria barely slept that night. The weight of the letter in her apron pocket felt heavier than anything she had ever carried. Should she ignore it? Should she tell someone? But who? She thought of calling her best friend, Lonnie, another Filipina housekeeper at the hotel. But what if someone overheard? No, this was too dangerous. She needed to be careful. The next morning, Maria arrived early for her shift, slipping into the janitor's closet to reread the letter in private. With trembling hands, she unfolded it again and noticed something she had missed before. Faint writing on the back. It looked rushed, almost desperate. "Meet me at the rooftop garden at midnight. Don't trust Richard. He knows." Maria's breath hitched. The note was unsigned. Who wrote this? And why did they want to meet in secret? Her thoughts were interrupted by a loud bang. The closet door had been yanked open. Maria. Richard's voice boomed. She spun around, shoving the letter behind her back. Yes, sir? His eyes narrowed suspiciously. Why are you hiding in here? I was just getting cleaning supplies, she stammered. He stepped closer, his eyes locking onto hers like a predator. Don't play games with me, Maria. I see everything. A chill ran down her spine. Did he know? Richard smirked. You housekeepers are all the same. Desperate, unimportant. No one would believe a word you say. Now get to work. Maria clenched her fists, watching him walk away. That night, she made a decision. She would go to the rooftop at midnight. She had to know the truth. The hotel was eerily silent as Maria crept through the hallways, her heart pounding in her chest. Midnight was approaching, and she was headed toward the rooftop garden, just as the mysterious note had instructed. She moved carefully, avoiding security cameras and tiptoeing past the staff quarters. If Richard caught her, she had no doubt he would fire her on the spot, or worse. As she reached the final staircase, a gust of cold wind swept through the open-air rooftop. The garden was dimly lit, with only the soft glow of city lights beyond the balcony. No one was there. Her stomach twisted. Was this a trap? Then she heard it. A rustling sound from behind the large potted plants. Hello? She whispered, stepping closer. A shadow moved. Maria's breath hitched as a man stepped out from the darkness. He was older, in his 60s, wearing a suit that had once been elegant but was now wrinkled and stained. His eyes were tired, his hair unkempt, but there was something familiar about him. Sir William Harrington? Maria gasped. The hotel owner. The man who was supposed to be running this grand place. But why did he look like this? You found my letter, he said weakly. Maria's mind raced. The owner himself had written the note? Sir, what's going on? Are you in danger? She asked. Harrington sighed, rubbing his temples. I don't have much time. Listen to me carefully, Maria. Richard, he's a fraud. He's been stealing from me for years, changing records, moving money. And when I confronted him, he had me drugged and locked away. Everyone thinks I'm traveling, but I've been trapped in my own hotel, hiding from my own employees. Maria felt sick. Richard wasn't just a rude manager, he was a criminal. But why didn't you go to the police? Maria asked. Harrington clenched his jaw. He has control over the staff, security, even some of my lawyers. No one would believe me without proof. Maria pulled out the letter from her pocket. Then we need to expose him. I found this in the penthouse. Harrington's eyes widened. That's it. That's what I wrote before he destroyed the rest. We have to act fast. We need to get this to someone who can help. But before Maria could respond, a loud voice echoed from behind them. Well, well, well. Maria froze. Richard. He stood at the entrance to the rooftop, flanked by 2 security guards. His smirk was gone, replaced by pure rage. You just couldn't keep your nose out of things, could you, Maria? Richard sneered, stepping closer. And you, old man. You should have just disappeared quietly. Maria's stomach dropped. They were trapped. Maria's heart pounded as Richard stepped closer, his eyes burning with fury. The rooftop garden suddenly felt too small, too enclosed. 2 security guards blocked the only exit. You should have just kept cleaning floors like a good little housekeeper, Richard sneered. Now you've ruined everything. Maria clenched the letter in her hands, her mind racing. She had to do something. But before she could speak, William Harrington stepped forward. I built this hotel from nothing, Richard, he said, his voice shaking with anger. And you tried to steal it from me, but you made one mistake. You underestimated people like Maria. Richard let out a bitter laugh. Oh, please, Who's going to believe a lowly housekeeper over me? Maria's fear turned to fury. She had spent years being invisible, ignored, disrespected, but not today. "You're right," Maria said, her voice steady. "No one listens to housekeepers. They don't see us. But that also means—" She took a step forward, lifting her phone. "They don't notice when we start recording." Richard's smirk vanished. Maria turned her phone screen toward him. The live stream was running. Thousands of people were watching. The comment section was exploding. "This is real. Is that the owner? He looks awful. Fire Richard. Call the police." Maria had started the stream the moment she stepped onto the rooftop. Every word, every threat, every confession was now public. Richard's face turned pale. "You?" His voice cracked as he lunged toward her. But before he could reach her, hotel security burst onto the rooftop. Not Richard's hired goons. The real security team. Because Maria had sent the live stream directly to the hotel's legal team and the police. "You're done, Richard," one of the officers said, grabbing his arms and slapping handcuffs onto his wrists. "We've been investigating your financial records, and this live stream, that was the final nail in your coffin." Richard screamed as they dragged him away. "You'll regret this, Maria. You're nothing. You're—" His voice faded as he disappeared down the staircase. Maria stood frozen, her heart racing, as the truth sank in. She had won. The invisible housekeeper had taken down the powerful manager. William Harrington turned to her, his tired eyes filled with gratitude. "Maria, you saved me. You saved my hotel. I don't know how I can ever repay you." Maria smiled, holding up her phone. "You already did," she said. "You believed in me." A few weeks later, the hotel was under new management. Richard was in jail, and William Harrington had regained control of his empire. As for Maria, she wasn't a housekeeper anymore. She had been promoted to head of housekeeping operations with a better salary, benefits, and respect. And when she walked through the hotel now, the guests noticed her, the staff respected her, because Maria was no longer invisible. If you loved this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring Filipina stories. Maria's story proves that no matter where you start, you can rise above anything.